Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set for the second weekend of the fourth season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series here at the Manasas Speedway as we get ready for the non-charter qualifier. We'll be having the main event tomorrow, but 6 drivers will transfer from the 26-car field here today into the main event tomorrow to try and battle it out for another points-paying win. We saw, obviously, back during the Daytona weekend, a lot of our non-charter drivers made their way in either through pole day qualifying or through the Gatorade duels. Now for the remainder of the season, on Saturdays we'll have the non-charter qualifying session, find out the most often 6 drivers that will qualify their way into the main event on Sundays. Now, the reason that I say in most events is there are some tracks that are only going to hold 40 cars. There are other tracks that may hold only 38, so we may end up having either 4 drivers transfer certain weeks or even as few as 2 drivers transfer into certain weekends' main event races. But on the pole for today's race is going to be L Chung, who did take part in the Daytona 500 last week. Alongside of her, D Voyles looking to make his first career points-paying start in the Duracell Cup Series. Behind them in row 2, you got A Sampsell alongside of the 70 of the name escapes me all of a sudden. Yeah, I'll remember at some point. And Pedro Lucas going to complete the top 5. But we're going to look down in the description below where you can see the starting lineup for today's race. And 6 drivers will transfer into the main event here today at the end of 20 laps.
Drivers, start your engines.
Command is given, and we're getting ready to go racing here today. This race is going to be just a little bit under half distance of what the drivers will be running tomorrow in the main event. They'll be running 50 laps, so fuel should not be an issue here today, I don't think, but then again, you never ever know. And just so that way I can get it out of my head, S Ozkan, that's who the 70 car is. Knew it was somebody. So one driver that we do need to focus on is J Dollerton in the 83, who is starting pretty close to the rear of the field here today. See if we can find him here, because he had to use a championship provisional last week. There he is. I was trying to look for the interstate car, but he's actually running the pedigree car this week. And so he's down to 4 championship provisionals that he can use to get into main events. So we'll see if he's able to transfer in. These drivers all today going to be battling pretty much for the 6th position, because it's the top 6 drivers that will start in spots 37 through 42 in tomorrow's main event. These drivers now just going to be battling amongst themselves as well. They're not going to have to worry about chartered drivers all around them as they did with the intermingling of the chartered and non-chartered drivers in the Gatorade duels back at Daytona. But here we go. Pace car is going to make the left-hand turn on the pit road. 20 laps await us here today. What 6 drivers are moving their way into the main event tomorrow? We're about to find out. It's a couple of Ford Mustangs of L Chung and D Voyles, followed by Toyotas of Sampsell and Ozkan, and then Fords of Lucas and Wise. Get us under the green. Let's roll at Manasas. Pedro Lucas making it 3 wide on the start. Could not get the run as now A Sampsell's going to cross down into the inside of L Chung. Looks like he may lead the first lap in that Matco Tools Toyota Camry. They'll be 3 wide behind him now as Lucas gets moved up to the middle. Here comes D Schwallenberg on the bottom. And now 3 wide, 2 rows deep, 3 wide, 3 rows deep now down the back straightaway. This track can hold them like that as long as they give each other enough room. And L Chung on that outside line doing a great job of keeping at least alongside the door of the 13. As now Sampsell slips up the track off of 4, trying to get the run on the straightaway. That opens the door for D Schwallenberg to take a look, and he's actually going to lead this lap by half a car length. J Taurus right behind him. Taurus was one of 6 drivers that transferred into the 500 last week, along with pole sitter L Chung. So Taurus looking to make back-to-back main event starts in that number 16 Domino's Pizza Toyota Camry. Behind them, though, they're 3 wide. That's W Goss on the bottom. Z Stultz in the 44 behind him. RJ Bishop up in the middle line. As W Goss with a big run off of 4. Going to look to the inside of Taurus and Schwallenberg, his teammate, looking for the lead. That lap, I believe, was led by Taurus in the middle groove. And look at them. 3 wide, now 6. 7 rows deep. 4 wide. Brad Stouffer got trapped in the middle. He tried to get down in front of Arthur Xavier. Almost had a wreck there in turn 1. They settle it out, though. That was a close call. That's now N Amoedo. Going to work his way up into the top 3. Now up to second. Looks for the lead on W Goss. He's another driver who made his first start of his Duracell Cup Series career in the Great American Race last week. 3 wide at the line. Ford, Toyota, Chevy. Give it to the Chevy of Arthur Xavier at the line that time. 4 wide back here. That's Dollerton on the bottom. Harrison Ponder in the middle. Z Stultz there as well. Oh, that's a little hairy coming off of turn 2. Somehow they keep it together. They're still 4 wide with Rob Evans down the bottom. And there was some door banging right there between W Goss and Z Stultz. Somehow we kept it all straight. Evans moving into 4th, following behind former champ Chris Dollerton, who moves to 3rd. Brad Stouffer, though, looking for the lead. And he will have it by at least a car length over Arthur Xavier at the line. Harrison Ponder in that 79 out of Otter Island Motorsports, another driver that was in the 500 last week. And then right behind him, you've got Quentin Moore, who started on the outside of the front row for the Great American Race. Inverted schemes between himself and S Ozkan this week. Last week it was S Ozkan in the Subway car and Quentin Moore in the Eris car. Now they've swapped the sponsorship liveries. The black Eris machine for Ozkan this week, and the white and green and black Subway Toyota for Quentin Moore, who's now out in front. But here comes Mike Wiley in the Rush Truck Center's Ford Mustang out of KB Racing Enterprises. He'll move into 2nd, and now a battle for 3rd between RJ Bishop from Young Motorsports and Mills Motorsports driver Justin Dearborn in the 07. Almost some contact back there. Dawson Wise in that neon yellow 81 almost got in the left rear quarter panel of Joshua Osborne in that 56 Mopar Dodge Challenger. At the line, drag race, give it to Mike Wiley. Seth Cole's now moved up into the battle for 2nd. The Liberty University Chevrolet out of Pigeon Racing. Michael Roode back there as well. There you see him. The DeWalt Toyota Camry has now worked his way up into the top 10 as they've settled to double wide. First 3 or 4 rows, 3 wide all the way back through the field after that, though. And we aren't even at the halfway point of this race as Dawson Wise takes a peek to the inside of RJ Bishop and Seth Cole at the line. Again in a 3 wide situation. The middle line gets it at the stripe. RJ Bishop was the leader of that lap. And now we're starting to see this is almost like a super speedway in terms of the way that drivers are falling to the back and working their way back to the front. Daniel Voyles is starting the outside of the front row, faded all the way back to the tail end of the field. He's now worked his way back up on that inside line. There you see him, 3rd on the inside line. Following behind the LS Tractor Chevrolet of Dylan Poteet, who at the line is going to lead that lap barely over Michael Roode. Got a big run there down the front straightaway, and boy, I'll tell you what, kind of starting to get the feeling we may have seen a photo finish here in the non-charter event as, ooh, this is Harry off the corner. That's Tristan Allen. Ooh, there definitely was contact right there. Tristan Allen, Mike Wiley not giving a whole lot of room, and then Allen gets into Pedro Lucas coming off of turn 2. The one thing I like, too, about the fact we've got the non-charter drivers this season is we get to be able to see, it isn't obviously the full length as we're going to see in the main event, but we get a little bit of an idea of what to expect in tomorrow's race. Gives us a little bit of a preliminary idea. As now A Sampsell to the lead. Dylan Schwallenberg right behind him in second, then Pedro Lucas. And how about T Gehrdes there as well? Number 69 out of Bulldog Motorsports, now under fire from Laura Chung in the 27. Laura Chung right now leading the Rookie of the Year points as she was the highest rookie finisher in the 500. And now trying to pick up a win here in the non-charter series as she's going to go to the inside of Pedro Lucas and Dylan Schwallenberg and will easily swing by for the top position. Here comes T Gehrdes, though, along with Rob Evans, couple of Dodge Challengers, and they're going to challenge her for the race lead. Not quite able to get to the inside there through turn 3. We'll see if either one of them get a good run here off of 4. C Dollerton right there as well in the pedigree Ford Mustang trying to get up here. He'd love to race his way into a main event, preserve those final 4 championship provisionals that he has. Remember, these drivers, they're not battling for the win here necessarily. They're battling for a spot inside of the top 6. Top 6 finishers here today will take part in the main event tomorrow. And I mentioned this back at Daytona, for all these drivers that are non-chartered rides that are rookies, to be able to battle for Rookie of the Year, they've got to make it into these main event races. Now Z Stultz puts Quentin Moore up the track. He's going to try and go to the inside, but now C Dollerton going to go 3 wide for that second position. Looks like Stultz momentum kind of got stifled a bit off of turn 4, and that opened the door for Dollerton to make a move. They're 3 wide, several rows deep again. This all going on behind Laura Chung in the 27, though. Right now, clean racetrack and about a car length and a half before you get back to Dollerton in second place, and that may not be for long as here comes RJ Bishop down to the inside line. Laura Chung would like it to stay just like this, with having a nice little gap back to a second place battle and easily taking the win here and transferring into the main event as now Will Goss turns it hard left off of 4. He's going to look for second place, and if these guys can get themselves formed up, there's no doubt they'll reel Laura Chung back in. Looks like that gap is actually starting to close by the time they get into turn 1. What was a car length, all of a sudden, Will Goss is back on the bumper of the 27 car. He's got his teammate Dylan Schwallenberg right there with him. These drivers have raced each other hard ever since the drop of the green flag. We have been 3 wide all the way through. We've had a number of 4 wide situations, but somehow we've been able to run these 14, now going on to 15 laps, clean and green, as now teammates will battle for second place. Will Goss on the top side, Dylan Schwallenberg on the bottom. This all going on still behind Laura Chung, and then behind them you've got a 3-way battle, 4-wide battle back here for around the 4th, back to maybe 7th, 8th position. They will settle it out. The biggest loser on that exchange was RJ Bishop. He was the one way up topside on the 4-wide situation, as now Z Stultz breaks into the podium. He gets by Will Goss for 3rd, looking to the inside of Schwallenberg for 2nd, can't quite get there. 4 to go at the line this time, and Laura Chung started on the pole, and after taking the lead back, she has not been challenged at all. These drivers have been battling more for second place than they have for the top spot. Now Schwallenberg, clear of any battling, might be able to make a move on her coming down here into turn 3. D Voyles has now moved into the 3rd position, so your front row to start this race are now in 1st and 3rd, as Voyles looks to the inside of Schwallenberg. Oh, he wasn't quite there, but Schwallenberg gave him the room, and that opened the door. If Schwallenberg had blocked him, I think he still would have been clear and been able to hang on to second place, but apparently did not feel safe enough to try and block the 63, and now it's going to leave him on the outside line. Here comes Voyles, here comes Dawson Wise, Rob Evans as well in the 65, Tristan Allen also down there in the 15 car with a little less than 3 laps to go. Battle for the lead. These two were side by side on the front row to start this race, and now they're side by side for the race lead going into 3. This time Voyles though on the bottom, Chung stuck on the top side. And now Laura Chung's got to make sure that she does all she can to stay up there in the top 6, as Voyles now the new race leader. Tristan Allen leading the charge on the inside line. Rob Evans in the middle. Chung on the top side. 3-wide battle for the 2nd position. White flag's going to be in the air next time by. All these drivers back here, mid-pack, rear of the field, they've got to drive their way up here into the top 6 in these final 6 corners. Voyles is clear for the top spot. Tristan Allen back in 2nd, looks in his rearview mirror, sees Michael Roode in that DeWalt Tools Toyota Camry Roode might have his hands full with Pedro Lucas and M Ozkan, though, so that might leave Tristan Allen with an opportunity to make a move here for the race lead, the win on D Voyles. So the white flag is displayed here at Manasas. One more lap to go. They're 4 wide back there around the transfer spot with RJ Bishop in the middle, Rob Evans, Justin Dearborn in that mix as well, still leaning on each other off the corner. As Voyles by about a car length and a half down the back straightaway. Tristan Allen, a big run going into 3, but is he close enough to be able to make a move here out of turn 4 is the question. As off the final corner, D Voyles, still about a car length and a half in hand. He's going to pick up the victory here today at the Manasas Speedway, transferring into the main event. Tristan Allen crosses second, M Ozkan third, then Pedro Lucas, Justin Dearborn, and A Sampsell is going to get the final transfer spot into this week's main event race at Manasas. RJ Bishop's going to come up just short by about 7/100ths at the line. Mike Wiley, Michael Roode, and Rob Evans complete your top 10, but it is the top 6 that are going to transfer into the main event here this week at Manasas. For D Voyles, actually I believe for all of them, for Voyles, Allen, Ozkan, Lucas, Dearborn, and Sampsell, it's going to be their first Duracell Cup Series starts. First career in a points-paying race. And there you see the entire finishing results from today's non-charter event. All 26 drivers had an equal chance to race their way into the main event. Only 6 of them were able to capitalize. So Voyles, Allen, Ozkan, Lucas, Dearborn, and Sampsell, they will start 37th through 42nd in tomorrow's main event race here at Manasas. And that one will be 50 laps in total. If I remember correctly, last year it was a fuel strategy race, and we expect nothing less here in tomorrow's event. Thank you all for tuning into today's non-charter race. Your 6 drivers, your top 6 finishers are the ones that move on to the main event tomorrow. That'll be taking place here at Manasas. 50 laps of racing. Trey Wright, of course, winning the Daytona 500. He is the defending winner of this race 1 year ago. So will we see him maybe go back to victory lane yet again? We'll have to find out. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at Best. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the main event race here at Manasas.